Hi everyone, it's me Darlene. I am here with a new quilt project. We are going to be making a fat quarter quilt. I think this might come out pretty good. I have no clue. So I went to my stash and I picked out 6 fat quarters. I have some pinks here, and then, I don't know, I have a hard time telling the color of this. It kind of looks blue, but kind of looks green, maybe a little bit olive green. And then this is some beige with blue, I think. I don't know if I can show you the colors and if they will ring true in this lighting. I don't think so. But they're very nice. I really like it. And they're all small prints. The biggest is this dot. I have 3 other sets on eBay right now at the time that I uploaded this video. So you can go grab yourself this exact set of fat quarters if you want to make this exact same quilt top as me. Here's the deal. We're going to be laying out our fat quarters. We're going to trim them. We're going to make some cuts, and then we're just going to put them back together. And then we're going to end up with 6 big blocks. We'll put those blocks together, 2, and then 2, and then 2. I could have said that differently. 2 by 3. Let's go with that. And it's going to end up, roughly, I think I threw the paper away, but, maybe like 40 by 50 something. In that range somewhere. And let me just get my cutting mat and let's get started. I pressed these somewhat, and I laid them down trying to line up the top and this side. And these are all my salvages here. This one is the shortest in the width. They vary in width. And so I put that one on top. So when I trim, I can make sure I cut off all the salvages and get them all. It doesn't matter what your finished size is of your fat quarter. So if you have a generous fat quarter, as long as you can make it a nice rectangle, and we can do any trimming, down to size after the fact. So I'm just going to cut, and I have my old, very warped mat, just so I can put this on a mat, because my other mat's a little too small. So I'm just going to cut on a line, any line. Just going to try to do this the best I can with my short ruler, too. Oh, I did such a good job. Look at that. So super cool. And now I will do the same on this side. Maybe I'll turn it. And now in the other direction. Yeah, I will invest in a long ruler. I'm sure I'm doing this with no level of perfection. As I always say on eBay, this is made with no level of perfection. All right, I'm going to scoot it over a little bit. I think I did a good job. Now we're going back to this way. I'm coming in at about 20.5 by, let's move it up this way, 19. And that's how I'm keeping it. Now I'm going to make my first cut. I want to cut, these are just numbers that I made up. You can make up your own numbers. I'm going to cut 12 inches in. So 12 inches from my left side. I'm going to cut all the way up. Whoops, I need my rotary cutter. Whoa. I didn't eyeball as good as I wanted to. A little bit off there. Hey, still pretty good. Now we're going to make a cut 6 inches up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right there. But I'm just going to turn it to make that easier to do. I'm going to do 7. Let's do 7. I like that. I like the sizes of the 2 parts. Now, just so we don't get screwed up, we're going to put it back the way we wanted, like this. Now, we're going to cut a slice on the top here. So I'm just going to move these over, and I'm going to turn this, and I'm going to do 4 inches in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Can you still see me? You can. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right here. Ooh, and I can reach both ends. Just so we don't get screwed up, I'm putting it back so you can see what we've done so far. You'll have to just re-watch and take down notes as to where my cuts are. Now we're going to take this little bugger, we're going to cut that into 3 pieces, 4 inches. So now I can cut 4-inch squares out of this. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to cut right there. We're going to have some 4-inch squares. And then I'm going 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is all the cutting we have to do. We're going to be done cutting. Okay, so let's move this back up. We have this, and there will be a little bit of waste because when we put these together, it's going to make it narrower than this, so we'll be cutting a little bit off. But the tallness should stay the same because we only have one seam going this way and one going this way, so that will shrink them down equally. Now, I do want to say, if you want to do sashing, it would look uber awesome. I know it would. If you sashed between these blocks, and then between the big blocks. I'm not doing it because I really like to just show quick and easy quilt tops. And sashing adds a lot of time and a lot of extra cutting. So now what we're going to do is this. Pay attention. I'm going to take this top pile. I'm not touching the big block. That's just staying right there. I'm going to take this top one, and we're taking 1 off the top and putting it under. Oh, I already love this. The next one, we're taking 2 off the top. 1, 2. Don't change the order. You know, don't do like this and then put the pink on top, like you're shuffling a deck of cards or something. So you just leave it. 1, 2. Put that in the back. Right there. The third one, we're doing 1, 2, 3. Get. Putting that in the back. This big guy, we're going to count 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're just going to put that down, put this on top. And then this guy, we would count 5, but it's just easier to go for the back one. See? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's just 1 left. So you can just go grab the back one and put that on top like that. Now we're going to be putting all these guys back together. So I'm going to start by connecting these 2. So I'll take you to the machine and let's start doing that. It is the next day. Yesterday, before I started sewing, I thought, ooh, my sale has ended. I have a flash sale every weekend, and it was time to shut down the shop and start packing orders, and I didn't get done until 8:30. It took me 3.5 hours to do that, and then I was too brain fried to sew. And I went to bed like, oh, why do I start these kinds of projects when I don't really know where I'm going with it? When I switched, you know, the layers of fabric. And the reason we do that is just so that there's no matching or repeating fabric in our block, because this is going to be our block. We're making 6 like this. So I happen to have like pink, pink, pink. And I was like, gee, I didn't plan that right. That's determined by how you put your layers of fabric. So I might have wanted to go like pink and then this, and then another pink, and then this, another pink, and then this, you know, when I was stacking them. But, you know, no matter what, I'm always going to like doubt my decisions. And I went to bed telling myself, just do it this way, do it. I was going to start like playing with these. I have not even lifted these to see what the other combinations are. So we're just going to be surprised. I think that's a good way to do this. So now for real, we're going to the machine and we're going to sew this stack to this stack. I have my 2 little stacks here. This is the long top part and this is the bottom part. So I'm going to just take this one and sew it to this one. And it will be interesting to see what color combinations pop up. It's kind of fun. You know, you can absolutely cut and then just, you know, sort things and stack things the way you like, but I'm not good with making decisions like that. I like the choice made for me. So I'm going to take this top one, this bottom one, I'm going to flip it, and we are going to sew right along the bottom edge. So I don't get confused, I am going to not chain piece these big guys. I'm going to open this and I'm just going to press. And I'm going to put this upside down on my other table. I'm going to stack them all like this, and then when I flip it over, I will have the same exact order that I had. Okay, this is fun. I like it. Oh, last night I was like quite miserable. Just second guessing everything. That's why I don't like to continue videos. I have time to change my mind about everything. Here we go. Upside down, going on the little stack that I'm creating. So I have my stack upside down. This is the last one that I just now sewed. I'm going to turn it over, and we're going to be right back to the order that we were. And I'm just going to lay this now next to my other blocks where it belongs. And now we're going to do these little squares, our little 4-inch blocks. I'm going to be sewing these together. I'm going to sew this one to this one and do chain piecing there. Am I going to be able to remember the order? I'm not. Okay, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to sew this one to this one and then this one to this one. Let's just keep it simple. And then I know my order. Okay, I'm just going to press. And I'm going to add this guy to it. Yeah, this is the best way for me to do it. I don't like to have to concentrate too much. Chain piecing is awesome and I love it, but only when I don't have to be concerned as to am I getting this right. Okay, so I have one strip done. This is going to be the piece on the right, no, on the left. See how I am? So you know what I'm going to do, even though I'm going to flip this like this, so when I turn it over, I will have the stack in the right direction. I'm going to put a little sticker that says L for left on just this one. And then I won't get confused. So we're going to sew this guy to this guy. And now I have to add this guy. Now I don't need to put an L for left. I'm just going to flip it and put it on my other stack. You do whatever works for you. But this is why I say just grab an idea and go with it and try it. And that's how we learn how to do other things. So if I wanted to make this quilt top again, I might have ideas, new ideas as to how to do it, not in a better way, but maybe a bit different that I will also like. I have just one more. So now I have my little stack of upside down strips. I'm going to flip it, and then I know this is the one on the left. So now I'm going to go put this back in its place on top of the big block. This is where we are. This was incredibly quick. I mean, really, I don't even know if it took me 20 minutes to do this. This is where I said we are losing an inch on this block because we had two seams up here and you lose a 1/2 inch each seam, each time you sew a seam, if you're using a 1/4 inch seam allowance, because a 1/4 inch and a 1/4 inch equals a 1/2 inch. So we lost an inch. So let me just trim an inch off this guy. Saving this. Now we are ready to sew one of these to one of these. So I'm going to go back to the machine. I don't need my little L anymore, but I felt safe having it. I've got my fabric here. So exciting. Take my big piece, and this is going to go here. Let's go with that. I'm actually going to move the big piece over. I can leave the little strips there. I need room. Oh my. Oh my. I like it. Okay, upside down on my table. This is what we have now. Just a little bit messy. I'm just going to leave these here and take what I need at the machine. We are going to sew this chunk to this chunk. Now within this block, there are no matching intersections at all, which is super cool. And you know, it makes a big block, so it really makes a quilt top quick. I'm taking one like this with my little top. And this guy, and just going to do that to all the pieces. I am done the quilt blocks. I love that this was very quick and easy, and I think that there's a lot of possibilities here with different prints, different colors. I did want to mention that this quilt top, once it's done, will be on eBay starting at a penny with free shipping for USA. Outside of USA, you are welcome to bid, but you need to pay the shipping through eBay's global shipping program. So go check that out. I do have 3 kits of the fat quarters, and I also have other fat quarters in my eBay store at any given time. I did notice that right now I have a lot of 12 fat quarters Christmas prints. You could make 2 different quilts like this if you're into that. So always go check out my eBay store. The link is always in the description down below. So now all I have to do is decide which order I'm going to put these. The one thing I wanted to say is that if you want the ability to turn your block, then they need to be square. Like if you want to put one sideways, that would be kind of cool. I don't know yet if I will do that. I'm thinking no. Mine ended up being about 19 wide by 18 tall, and it's funny because they look much taller than wide. To me, it's got to be an optical illusion because of these long rectangular blocks. But I've got 19 by 18. So if I wanted to trim an inch off each of these, then I would have the ability to turn. But let me just do some layouts and I'll show you what I come up with. I know you can't see, but what I did is I matched the blocks up by making sure there were no 2 pieces touching this way in that center seam. And it was a little bit difficult to get that to happen, but I did. So I will be sewing these 2 together, and then these 2 together, and then the other 2 together. The only thing is when I'm going to be sewing the rows together, each row will have something touching. This will be touching here, this will be touching here, and there's really no way to get past that unless I were to square these blocks up and start turning. And that would be super cool, but again, I just want to keep this simple, so I'm just going with this. Let me put my blocks together 2 by 2 and then my rows, and then I'll show you what we have. You guys have no clue how much I have struggled throughout this entire process. Not so much with the sewing, but with all the behind the scenes stuff. I am to the point where I'm just so discouraged, and I just want this video to be over, and I still have more editing to do. I recorded with this on the bed downstairs and it was just too dark, so now I brought it upstairs where I at least have a ceiling light and one lamp that works, and here's what we have. Another thing is that, you know, I just love loud, funky, wonky, and this just isn't doing it for me. But it is nice. Some people may prefer this. It's very subtle. I really do like the way it turned out. I would like to do this again with other fabrics, other prints, and just play with it, and then maybe do a couple more cuts and some twists and turns. But here is how it turned out. And I don't know why I have it at an angle. I just thought it looked cool at an angle. I measured it, and now I can't remember. That was for the last video. I do believe, and I will double check, but I'm pretty sure it's 37.5 inches wide by 53 inches long. Whoever wins this on eBay, do go check that out. Link is down below. You can put a border around it. Let's just look at it together more closely. And it's a little bit frumpled because it's been all over the place. This was just a very tiresome process. Sometimes videos are like that. Nothing will go right. I lost footage, or so I thought. I looked desperately, and then I said, well, I'm going to have to record a piece to explain what is missing, and then it magically appeared. I don't know what the deal was. It just wasn't uploading from my card. So I do like it. I'm not like acting like I'm in love with it, because so far this process has been horrible, but it happens. I will recover, and I will be back with more soon. I will have a little slideshow coming up. Please do go check out my links and subscribe, or else. Bye!